A very warm welcome to your story on Look Up TV. It is the second day of December 2021, so Happy New Year to all our viewers. Today on the show, we're talking about entrepreneurship, starting a business, and the opportunities that are out there for young people. And with me on set is Calvin Judici. Now, Calvin is the co-founder and CEO of African Startup. Karibu sana for your show.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and Happy New Year, Nalima.
Happy New Year. So this is your story. So I know we're talking about businesses, but we want to know how you got to be here, co-founder and CEO of African Startup.
Yeah, so just as you said, my name is Calvin Judici. I'm actually founder of quite a few companies, apart from the one that you've actually mentioned. My background actually is actuarial science, because that's what I studied. But I've always wanted to, be outside there and start something on my own, and build something. So I founded a couple of companies. So I founded our first social enterprise is called Ecopoa, which basically was founded in 2017. And the company is basically social entrepreneurs because we actually work with the youths in Madare slums to be able to make eco-friendly bags. So we have a few clients, mostly packaging companies or packaging restaurants and all that. So we make for them packaging bags that they can be able to give away foods and all those kind of stuff. So we've been doing that, and then we also made for other companies like Safaricom and many other companies. And this is just also, it's inspired me because I really wanted to give back to the society by helping these young people be able to learn new skills, so that they can actually not just stay at home or maybe get involved in crime or early pregnancy and all this kind of stuff. So the business has been doing pretty well. But apart from that, I've also been so passionate about entrepreneurship, and I started what we called Ascent Africa, which is basically called Africa Summit on Entrepreneurship and Innovation, which actually has been happening. We host events every year in different countries. We've had our events, our entrepreneurship events in Uganda, in Ghana, in South Africa, and even in Kenya as well. And that also was just to bring conversation around young people across Africa on how do they become entrepreneurs, but also get the people already succeeded in the fields. So we usually have like many founders to come and speak with these young people on how they can be able to run and establish their own companies. And so also last year but one, then actually I founded the Africa Startup Campus, which basically has been a company that actually we founded with a friend of mine as well, and we've been just running training. So we run training programs on entrepreneurship, on strategy, and help young people who actually have ideas be able to make their ideas come to reality. So that has actually been also as a way of also helping me grow myself and also learn new skills. And that's what we're actually hoping to do even more. And thank God for technology and the fact that, because Corona happened, so most people are actually, embracing virtual training. So we don't really need to spend on like having a venue and all that. We just need to have to get people virtually, and that also help us because we can actually get people from even other countries apart from Kenya. So you can get people join our training from Uganda, from South Africa, from Ghana,
all over Africa and beyond.
And beyond. So for me, I think that has been a part of my story, and we still keep on in this particular journey.
And you have a very rich CV.
We try.
But now, where did it all begin? Because some people are book smart, and some others are street smart. You can be both. But where did the story begin for you? Is it something that you saw at home?
Yeah, so basically me, I think I've been raised up in a family, my mom was an entrepreneur. And I called entrepreneur because she used to sell groceries, and just a mama mboga kind of, but she used to actually run her own cereal cereal shop.
Yeah.
And I think growing up, even from the age of, I think since the age of 4, I actually was involved in the business. So
age of 4.
yeah, actually
you're
age
helping
of
to
4.
clean up or something.
No. So age of 4, she would maybe leave me at the shop when she's go to maybe do some house chores, and then I would actually take care of the business. So maybe tell me, okay, you're going to sell this, maybe this cereal, 1 kg is this much, this and this and this. So just leave me, and then I would actually do that. So I started learning that as early as possible, and then I realized, okay, probably I would really love to continue doing something like that. And so automatically I found myself getting into entrepreneurship. Yes, I've worked before with companies like African Alliance Investment Bank, because my background also is in finance as well. So I worked with them, but for me, I think my passion has always been like I want to be my own boss, but then I also want to explore. Because one thing about the entrepreneurship and especially the conference that we've been running, the entrepreneurship conference, you find that you actually travel to different countries, meet different people. If I was just stuck in one particular place, then I would actually not have that aspect. And then I think also one thing that has really driven me into like being an entrepreneur is the fact that you learn a lot every time. So an example is that every time you come up with new ideas, new businesses, and you actually going to learn through this particular process. You learn things like how do you market your product, you learn things like how do you get partnerships, how do you sign partnerships, how do you make maybe partnership documents, so you find that you actually learn holistically. How do you deal with different governments when you go to different countries? There's language barrier. How do you deal with also even the language barrier in those different countries? And we're going
to get to that in a short while. And a social enterprise. Yeah. How did that come about?
So I mean, social enterprise. I think obviously also because of my upbringing. I was actually literally raised in a children's home because my mom passed when I was quite young. So I've always wanted to give back to the society in terms of help young people who are not privileged enough to actually be able to have something that they can be able to support themselves. And so that's why I thought, okay, so how can I actually support these young people in Mathare slums? And I said, okay, why don't I train them? Number one, we did before even we started the company, we actually did like a whole month entrepreneurship training program where these young people actually were learning things like marketing, they were learning things like customer care service, so how do you talk to people, and so we took them from quite a lot of skills. It was actually a 1-month program, and we used to do at least twice every week, so it was quite intense. And at the end of the day, they also graduated with a certificate having attended that particular program. But anyway, the certificate was not the important part, but the important part is the skill that they were actually able to get, and that is the training skills, but also now the physical skill on how to make be innovative and making those eco-friendly bags. And so some of them actually ended up starting their own workshops, where they can actually make those bags. So for me, that is, that's what I thought. Okay, this is how I can be able to give back. But then also, as a way of also encouraging people to, things like climate change and all this kind of stuff, because how do people go eco-friendly? Everybody's talking about climate change right now, but then climate change is not only about like I'm going to plant trees, but it's also about how do we have innovative ways of countering things like going eco-friendly. How do you take care of the environment in different aspects? And you've seen people doing a lot of recycling, people making maybe even shoes or even different garments from maybe recycled clothes or something like that. So how do you become creative and then contribute to that aspect of climate change as well?
And you were on Lions Den.
Yes, and I was actually on Lions
about
Den.
That,
and actually I was on Lions Den with that as well. So when we started running, when we just started the company, the guys who runs the Lions Den show were actually interested to say, okay, oh, by the way, we've seen your company, it's something viable, and it's something that's really doing well. So they said, oh, why don't you come on Lions Den? So actually I was in Lions Den and I pitched, which was really, really good.
And what is the preparation like when you're going to Lions Den? Like you're going to these well-renowned entrepreneurs, yes, who want to invest in your business.
In that business.
Yes.
No, I think Lions Den was, no, definitely they also gave us prep. So like they had to tell us what we expect, and how do we prepare ourselves. So definitely we have to prepare our products, because we had to put a display of our products, so that the judges can be able to see and even have a feel of our product. So we made a few products, and I mean we made more products, because we already had a few products from like our clients, but then we had to make a few more products. So we made a few more products. And then now we had to even work on how we're going to display our products, and then also definitely work on our pitch. How do you introduce yourself also there? The level of confidence. What do you want your audience to see? What do you want the judges to hear? All those kind of stuff. So yeah, we did a training for just a few days. They actually did like phone calling, interviews and all that. But again, even before that, we had to even prepare our paperwork in terms of this company, this is where we stand, this is our projection. So definitely we had to prepare our projection. So this is where we see our company in the next maybe 2 or 3 years or something like that. So we had to prepare all those things, which definitely as an entrepreneur or as a startup or somebody who's looking at someone to invest in their business or their company, those are some of the things that you need to actually prepare early enough before you even go and say, okay, here's our company and we need some money. So yeah, so we had to prepare all those things before we actually went to the pitch.
Okay, now let's just jump straight into our agenda of the day. How can people start businesses that are successful?
Yeah, I think one of the things that for me, I think number one is you have to start a business that you're passionate about. So not because the money is there, but as long as your passion drives you. I always say is that if you can wake up in the middle of the night to do it, then you actually love it. If somebody can call you and say, hey, where are you? Can we do this thing? And then you can actually wake up at 1 p.m., 1 a.m. in the night and actually do it, then you're passionate about it. So it's not about the money.
When Quail eggs were a trend and everybody just jumped straight in.
But you see now, because people are now, that's now where the money aspect comes in. But it's not that they were so passionate about. Somebody maybe was just rearing their chicken, which was maybe doing very well, but then they had, there's this quail, and there's a lot of money, and then people jumped into it, and definitely they burned their fingers. So it's always not about the money first. It's actually about the passion. So once you're passionate about it, then from there you're actually going to build a lot of skills around it. Okay, so if you're passionate about it, you're going to learn about it. You don't have to have gone to school for it. So maybe you say, okay, if you've gone to school for it, actually that's more added advantage. But if you haven't gone to school for it, then your passion actually will be able to help you learn about it. So you're going to do a lot of research to find out, like, okay, if for example I want to get into the fashion industry. I've never gone to school for fashion, but maybe I love design. So I need to go and do research on some of the top brands. I'm going to do research on maybe some of the designs. And then after that, I'm going to start even learning how to sketch a design, So once I sketch a design, then either I'm going to go an extra mile where I can actually learn about tailoring. Either I'm going to tell a friend, can you be able to teach me how to tailor? If I can't be able to tailor, then I'm going to be doing the designs and then get somebody who is a tailor to actually now do it for me. So, but that's passion. I didn't go to school for it, but then I'm passionate about it. Then I will actually be able to grow. So for me, I think that's the key thing. And then after that, then definitely money comes in, and you can. And money can actually come in when your passion passes the aspect of money.
Money is always a big question, because you want to start a business. Capital,
Yeah, I know capital is a big question, but I don't really think that capital is the end thing. It's very good. I mean, if you look at stories like Facebook, for example, you find that, you know, Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook when he was in campus, and the idea was like, okay, I would love people to connect after campus. How can they be able to connect?
Yeah.
You know, and so he started that. So when he started Facebook, he didn't think about like, okay, where will I get the money? If you've been on Facebook for actually maybe 10 years, for some of us who've been on that, you'll actually be able to see how that platform has be able to change a lot.
Yeah, it has evolved.
You know, it has really evolved. Yeah. So it tells you that when you are passionate about something, get into it, and then from there you're actually going to be evolving. Every time you're going to meet new people, every time you're going to get new skill sets, every time you're going to be challenged, and so as you get challenged, so you actually be able to grow that brand. And as you get challenged, you actually get in people who are interested to support you in that particular agenda in terms of investment. So people are like, okay, I love where you guys are right now. I'm willing to put my money there. So people are going to now start putting money, and even you're going to start getting new skills. Definitely, even if it's if it's grown a little bit, then you're actually going to even hire people who actually come in with the unique skills. That's going to say, okay, we love this. Can we change this? Can we do this? Can you do this? So in the next probably 10 years, you'll actually be surprised where you actually you are, you know, in terms of that particular business.
So it's good for people first to realize what they're passionate about.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So there's actually need for time to think through.
Yeah, think through about your passion. Once you feel that I'm so passionate about this, then now go for it. Don't only think about the money part. Think about what you're passionate about. Once you know you're passionate about it, because once you're passionate about it, you can actually wake up any time in the night to be able to do it. And if you can be able to wake up any time of the night to be able to do it, then you're good to go. Then after that, so now put those ideas, definitely, you know, like for example, I'm going to give you an example, is that for example, even in what you're doing with the bags, every time you're coming up with the new designs, like, okay, you want to make small bags, you want to make big ones, or clients want something like this, clients want something like this, you have to think through. The same thing with even the kind of online trainings that we do as well. Every time you're thinking of, okay, so this time maybe we're going to do social media marketing. What are some of the key things that we're going to do? Maybe business development. We're going to do something on industrial 4.0. What are some of the things that are needed? So all those things, like every time you'll always think of ideas, you know, and if you've seen most companies that have grown, if you've seen companies that have grown over the years, companies actually also evolve. Yeah, you find that this person just started here. You know, I mean, good examples are people like Jeff Bezos, for example, the Amazon. If you look at the pictures when Amazon just started in a small room and what they were focusing on, you know, when they started the books and all that kind of stuff. Right now, if you look at the Amazon right of today, they're actually in almost everything, you know, including even exploring to go into space. So it tells you this. The idea was like, okay, can we sell books online? Yeah, that's it. But then the guy didn't stick there. He said, okay, let's now grow. You know, let's go into even now starting even taking people into space. You know, so maybe in the next few years, Amazon will be taking people to space. You know, but that's not where they started. But why is because there was the passion was there, and then thank God for technology. The technology evolve every time. So then companies like that want to like, okay, how do we evolve the technology? How do you apply things like artificial intelligence to be able to advance, you know, our business in different angle? And we've seen that even in tech. Most of the tech companies, like let's say even Facebook or Google, the way they use very strong algorithms to be able to advance in a lot of things. You know, so for example, maybe I'm here today. Maybe I'll check in like, oh, I was at Lookup TV. The next time I go online, I will actually get an advert from Lookup TV. Yeah. You know, so it tells you how, you know, the algorithms have been made and how the technology has been able to use to advance the business. Okay, and
let's talk about when someone starts a business. Then there is the issue of starting small. So in starting small, I know it's relative, depending on maybe how much money you have. But how small is small?
No, I think it just depends with it depends with individuals. Like it depends with who you are, and for example, you can start your own business, like just an individual business, and maybe you just start a small business, like maybe you've just hustled and say, okay, I have maybe like, let's say 5K, let me go bring some mangoes from Ukambani and start selling, okay? And then you start selling, you make some little profit and say, okay, let me now buy a blender and now start blending so that I can be able to sell people juice. And then you start now selling juice to people. So you just started small. But then you say, okay, guys, we have this idea, we want to start a software company. Okay, you want to start a software company, maybe you get maybe one or two of your friends and say, okay, we want to start a software company, what do we need? We need very good computers to start, okay? So you're going to buy computers, maybe computers will cost you, maybe each computer is like maybe $1,000. So you're going to come together and say, okay, we need a small office. So you'll find that maybe in that aspect, you might need maybe like even 2 million to be able to start that business. So small can be relative, but just it depends on the kind of business that you want to start, and then it even depends with do you want to start a business yourself? It's the same thing also with the software company as well.
Yeah.
You can start just by yourself, and you can just start by maybe if you just have a small computer, you can start with your computer and then start getting clients. Start getting clients, do for them the work. You don't need an office. Maybe you just need at your house. You need to stay home, have your internet there, and then start doing those and start getting business. Once you start getting business, and you feel now you've grown enough, then you can be able to get out there. So it depends on the level of company that you want to start. If you want to start, definitely if you want to start a manufacturing company, then you will need a lot of money, because you might need to set up a real manufacturing plant, which definitely need a lot of money. So it also depends with maybe what you want to achieve, and maybe the source of maybe even capital that you have, and maybe your passion. All those things goes together.
So that is what will lead you
to decide, like, this is what I want to start, this is the scale that I want to start it from. So I want to start it with just a simple small business, or I mean, since most of people nowadays are in digital marketing, you said, okay, I just want to start with my phone. I want to be creating content on my phone. And then I'll start approaching companies and saying, okay, guys, I usually create this content and I have like 1 million views. Can you start advertising on my content,
Yes.
And they'll say, okay, how much? We'll give you maybe 100K. So they give you 100K, now you're going to buy a proper camera and start recording proper stuff. So it just depends with how how you look at it and how you go about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I want us to talk about startups. We know that a lot of startups fail after a very short while.
Yeah.
So the statistics right there. But we'll be talking about that just right after the break. We are taking a short break here on Your Story on Look Up TV, but we'll be back in a while. Welcome back to Your Story on Look Up TV. Today we are talking about entrepreneurship, starting a business, and the business opportunities that are out there right now. And with me is Calvin Jadise. And just before the break, we were talking about startups.
Yeah.
We know that a lot of startups, like more than half of startups, fail in just a very short while.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, definitely most startups fail, I think, within 3 years, and I think most of them, there are different reasons why they fail. So I think number one reason probably that I would actually still go back to is the passion. Yes, you're passionate about a particular thing, but then did you hold that particular passion, or you actually gave up on the way?
Yeah.
So for me, I think passion, number one. And another thing that kills them, especially now, once you start, in 3 years, or maybe in 2 years, you start, maybe your company has grown a little bit, and then you start bringing in a few people on board. Then you find that maybe you bring in people who actually don't really hold the vision of the company, then it end up dying. Or yeah, so I think sometimes mostly it's the people that you bring on board, or the people that you're able to work with in the vision, and definitely passion. Did that passion die? Or maybe some obviously is capital or misuse of resources, because the problem with us, especially the startups, is that yes, you started a company and then you don't know how to balance, like, okay, this is the company's money and this is actually my money. You know, is it my money, all of it?
Yeah, I actually know of a certain company that closed down because within the first 2 years, you know, the business was so big. So the V8s. For the directors and everything.
Everybody went big, like everyone to buy the best car, you know, because so definitely it's gonna die, because you don't know you don't know how to balance between, you know, my money and the company money. And even if it's your money, you don't know how to plan around it to the company, because you need to invest most of the money in the company. But again, it also depends on the co-founders. Are you all aligned in that particular vision, you know? So because if for me, if for example today Nelima said, okay, Calvin, I have this idea, can you come on board? And then I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. For me, maybe I'm seeing the money part. I'm like, okay, this is a good idea. In the next 3 or 4 years, we'd actually made a lot of money. But in real sense, I'm actually not passionate about that business. I'm just coming in because of opportunity that has been presented to me. So then I'll just come in, and because we're going to make money, maybe after 3 or 4 years, I'm done. I've made my money. I'm done. I'm not part of the company anymore. So I think also is the intent. People sometimes really don't have a clear intent of like, why are you getting into that particular business, and that's why it will die. Capital don't really contribute a lot to companies dying. You know, the reason what really contribute also to companies dying is because of maybe overhead costs. You know, you started your company, you started small, but then you kind of now think like, okay, you need to hire more people and all that, but yet you're hiring, and yet the company is not actually bringing the money that is supposed to sustain the people you're hiring. So you find
there's a need to consider that.
Yes, so so you're going to have a lot of overheads, and you find yourself actually not be able to sustain the company. So it's a matter of how do you balance, you know, how do you balance the aspect, you know, before, for example, if you're running a company that actually you've started opening, maybe like things like, let's say you are running a microfinance, maybe you've opened a branch in Nakuru, you've opened a branch in Kisumu, you've opened a branch in Eldoret or something like that. The best question you should ask yourself is that, are they sustaining itself? You know, if I'm going to open a branch in Kisumu, can that branch sustain itself, or will the Nairobi branch be actually literally
sustaining the others? And the
so why should you have the Nakuru one if it's just being sustained by the Nairobi one? You know, and so that is where you find that now the overhead costs are just a lot, and then you can actually not be able to maintain that business, and the business start dying slowly. But again, and I think also another thing is the trust. You know, the problem with us human beings is sometimes, especially when it comes to money, when money start coming in.
Money is a tricky conversation.
Yeah, when money start coming in, we don't respect. So like, you're my supplier, I won't respect you, so I won't pay you on time, or even I won't pay you at all. So we won't respect people's, people who contribute to our company. Maybe if I've employed people, maybe I won't even respect them by giving them their salaries on time. So you find that all those things actually will start demotivating people in the company. You know, the people that you're working with in the company, they'll feel demotivated, and when they feel demotivated, definitely that company is going to die, because they are part of your fuel. You know, the people who are running this particular business. Once you start not paying your suppliers, they won't be able to supply you with the right things. You know, and so if we can be able to respect, like, you know, you respect your company. You know, a company is like an individual person, and actually a company is treated as an individual person. So if you respect the individual person, which is a company, make sure you pay people on time, make sure that the company doesn't run on a lot of debt, then you'll be good to go, and most likely you won't be able to die. But if you do the opposite, definitely the company might not be able to go far.
And let's talk about all these small businesses. There are businesses that some graduates may find it hard to get into,
Yeah.
but they make money. We have small businesses, and Kenyans eat a lot of street food. So there's smoky kachumbari, then there's mayai kachumbari, then there's mutura, mahindi choma,
Yeah, yeah.
all this that could possibly generate an extra income. But now for graduates,
No,
that
they
is a
feel
little
like
hard.
they.
Yes.
No, it's very true actually. I mean, those business actually makes good money. It's only that as a graduate, you feel like, okay,
The class.
let me go, let me go get a proper job or something like that. But if you look at, I don't know if you've been to Uganda. If you've been to Uganda, Uganda is famous with what they call Rolex. Okay,
Yeah.
so Rolex actually it's just chips. It's just
Chapati.
no, it's actually chapati and eggs.
Yeah.
So it's just the normal chapati and eggs that that everybody eats in their house. But you find that that's such a big business because people there eat a lot of chapatis and eggs. And I remember when I was working in Uganda in 2017, despite I go to Uganda very often, you find that somebody can even make a whole, even two bundle of ungas
Yeah.
just for chapati and eggs, and people really eat a lot. So somebody like that, you feel, okay, no, why should I go make that? The person is making so much money compared to even the person who is employed. You find that maybe that person makes maybe like more than $1,000 every month, and yet maybe that graduate want to go and start
Sit in the
office, and maybe the person will say, okay, I'll just pay you maybe $200 every month. But because of that courage to start, like even to get involved in that, you'll be like, your friends will be passing there's like, oh, Kwani, nowadays you sell these things.
There's that.
Yeah, which should not be, like you should be able to start something, and like I have a friend of mine, I mean, she actually really inspired me. She graduated, and she graduated, she did logistics, bachelor's of logistics, and then she couldn't get a job in this logistic company. And so what she did is that she just actually went and trained as a tailor. Okay. She went and trained as a tailor, and now she's making really good clothes. Actually, she's the one who made this wear for me.
She's doing well.
And she's doing well.
Yeah.
And she actually did the training only for 3 months, and then she now works with some guy who is very professional. So the guy has actually been really, really training her on different aspects, and she makes really nice clothes in Kisumu. And so for me, those are kind of people that really inspired me. Should have like, okay, I don't have a job and all this kind of stuff, but see, right now she has two professions. She's in logistics.
Yeah.
If
she's
things goes bad, she can still go back to logistic anyway.
Yes.
And now she has a fully fledged fashion business. She has her own shop, and she's selling other stuff, and at the same time makes for people clothes. And so maybe somebody will judge them, the notion of Kenyans where they think like a tailor is somebody who's not gone to school. But you find that actually tailors are very smart people, because for you even to design a cloth like what you're wearing,
there's a lot that goes in the proportions, the color combination.
Yes.
So then there's a
design.
need for us to change our mindset.
Exactly.
Because there are some jobs that are not, aesthetically, they're not very attractive.
Yeah.
So then it could be hard for graduates. They can't imagine work that is a little manual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So say something like farming. We know that young people are starting to consider farming.
Yes.
But we're still not there yet. But there is money in farming.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of money in farming, and there will always be money in farming, because people never stop eating, and the population is growing every day. Africa, and especially Africa, actually, that population is very, very key, because now, like in Africa, in the next few years, our population is growing to billions. So all these people need food.
So there's need for more food.
There's need for more food. And that's why if you look at like the Africa Development Bank, for example, the president there, he's actually always had a very strong focus on agribusiness. And Africa Development Bank actually supports a lot of young people who are actually venturing into agribusiness, because the president there is said that, agriculture food security is the next big, is the next gold, So I think agriculture it's quite important, because food security is very important, and as long as it's done well, not the normal kawaida farming that we all know. As long as it's done well, then you can actually make money. Yeah. So, and I think everybody can venture into that. And I've seen a lot of young people actually have ventured into keeping chicken. A lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah, and chicken
even
is,
in a very small
yes,
space, you can
and
actually
chicken
manage
is actually,
to do
it's
that.
very expensive. Like if you look at in Nairobi, for example, Kienyeji chicken is 1,000 or 1,200. The boiler chicken goes to 600.
Yeah.
So definitely there's a lot of market in that particular area, and agriculture still remains to be definitely a very lucrative business.
Yeah. And about side hustles, we are told you cannot rely on one source of income.
Yeah.
Look at 2020. Now we're in 2020, we're hoping for better. But what happened in 2020 with the COVID-19 pandemic, then that means that a lot of people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
So then you don't have something else to cushion you when your main source of income just runs dry.
Yeah.
So side hustles.
Yeah. I think it's actually important to balance the side hustle, especially when you're fully employed. When you're fully employed, I always say is that even though you're employed, you should never think like you need to be employed and retire there forever. Always when you're employed, you're thinking of okay, what is, for me, I always say is you always think of what's your strategy for exit. You don't want to be in somebody's company for the rest of your life. It's not that it's not a good thing, but I think it's also good.
You
for
want to
you
grow yourself.
Yes, you want
well.
to grow yourself and also even build something. The person who built the company you're working from is he also sat and thought. So then your side hustle should be actually your exit strategy hustle. That's what I usually refer to, exit strategy hustle. So if, for example, you're passionate about something, and even your side hustle should be something you're actually very passionate about. So then as you do your work, then be doing that slowly, be doing that slowly. So if you're passionate about maybe starting a design company, for example, or maybe you're even passionate about interior design, interior building designs, then you can be working on those aside. So you can be either doing designs for people, and then you partner with someone, and then they can actually be implementing those designs. Or maybe weekends when you're not working, you actually help do ABCD, okay? Or you can just specialize on very very structured, simple design. For example, you say, okay, for me, I only do maybe front office design, okay? So, or for me, I just do maybe reception design, okay? So that is just your work, which maybe a reception design, you can actually do that work over a weekend and you're done. So how do you work on those extra strategy as you work and slowly getting off that particular field?
Yes.
If you're passionate about maybe consulting, maybe you want to be consulting in terms of maybe PR, for example, or you want to do maybe social media consulting, you want to do branding for companies and all this kind of stuff, then you just do it aside. You can do it at night. Once you're from work, you can actually log into your computer and help people manage their social media and all those kind of stuff. Maybe create content for them as you continue with your work. So once this be able to grow, that you can actually pay bills, then you can say, okay, bye, thanks, it was nice.
And I start my
it was
own
nice
thing.
Working with you. But I don't think that side hustles should be, don't take them as normal jobs, because that's where people go wrong. It's so side hustles should be something you're passionate about, and should be more like your exit strategy to maybe where you're currently at.
Yeah. And in business, there's a place for discipline, because without discipline, then a business is bound to fail.
Exactly. And
when you start a business, say I start selling clothes, then my friends can come and they want a dress, where the dress goes for 1,200. Then they'll be like, by the end of the month,
I'll bring you the money.
Yeah, that's when I'm going to get paid, so I'll bring you the money. Or now, the money that I was waiting for has delayed, so after maybe Saturday.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the place of discipline in a business.
I think it's good also for people to treat business as business, and definitely yes, most of your first clients are going to be your friends, because you know these are people that are in your circle and
That's
you're
where you
reaching out to
start
them.
from.
You know, you're reaching out to them. But again, it's also good for you to balance between like your friendship and your business. So I think a good friend wouldn't want to buy on credit from you, you know, and I think that's something that's supposed to be like the problem also with us is that sometimes when I buy from you, I feel like I'm really promoting you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing you a favor.
A favor.
Which is the case when you go to the market, when you buy from, do you really feel that you've
You're
done them
doing
a favor? It's like, okay, I'm paying this 1,000 shillings, and then do you feel like you're doing a favor for them? No. You know, you're not doing for a favor for anyone if you decide to. Because at the end of the day, if you're buying clothes from me, you're going to wear that particular clothes, right? So it's going to be beneficial to you. You're going to look nice in it. You know, it's going to add for you. Maybe it's going to be advantageous for you. Maybe when you go for interview, people see you're very smart and all this kind of stuff. So I think number one, we have to separate friendship and business and make it really strict and say, okay, yes, you want to buy from me. Yes, you're supporting my hustle, but then please just pay cash, okay? Unless it's really somebody you really trust, and you know somebody that has a trust record in terms of paying, then you can actually give them and say, okay, if someone will say, okay, I'm going to pay maybe next week Friday, and you know they pay exactly next week Friday, then you can actually give them on a loan. But mostly don't start your business on loan, and don't really feel that people really like you really need people for your business to succeed. No. Just as I said from the beginning, it's your passion. You're passionate about it. So which means that if I'm passionate about something, I don't really need Nelima so much to actually support my hustle. I'm passionate about it. I'll get outside there and
go out there and get people to
get
buy.
Yeah, and even mostly when you're starting a business, don't back on your friends too much. Actually, let them see things going on, and it's like, oh, so you started this.
Oh, so you have these wigs.
Yeah, you have this wig. They're really nice. Why have you never told us? Like, oh, yeah, actually I have them. You can actually buy. You know, now people start saying, oh, why have you never told us that you're doing this? Why have you never told us that you're doing this? So once they start saying why you never told us, then now you can actually lay your principle and say, oh yeah, by the way, I have very nice shoes. They only goes for 1,000 shillings. You know. When you have the money, let me know. And then now they'll be like, okay, by the way, send me those shoes. Here's the money. Oh. Yeah. So the approach is that,
go.
Yeah, don't look at your friends first as your first clients. Actually, go outside there and look for your clients. Let your friends see that later, and it's like, okay,
it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening, and it's like, okay, we want to be part of this thing.
What about education? These days, what most people say, or some people say, is that education is overrated when it comes to business, because some people are just naturally street smarts. But what is the place of education?
No, I think education is very, very key. And for me, I always say, if you can be lucky to build a business around, like you build a business around where you've actually invested knowledge in, okay? What I mean is, for example, you're an engineer. For example, you're a civil engineer. You're going to create your company that does civil engineering, or you're a software developer, for example. You've actually gone to school. You've actually studied how to develop softwares. Then you're starting a company that develops softwares. That would actually really be a good thing, because you have the passion, and then you have the real skills. Okay. Maybe definitely you need other skills like now entrepreneurship skills. Now you need other form of skills like maybe marketing and those kind of stuff. Okay, but if you can actually build business around your particular field, your field of education, that would be very, very key. Okay, so education still remains very important, and it's actually really, really important for everybody to try your best to be able to get education in the field that you are in. You know. And if you're changing your field, so let's say you're getting into maybe fashion, and you've done software development, you actually need to even get more time to learn about fashion. If possible, you can go for maybe a 6 months training program and learn about that. You know, so education is very, very important. And just because nowadays most people go to school and don't get a job doesn't mean that education is not important. Education is very, very important, because even through that education you can actually still better yourself. Maybe you've done a degree in maybe you've done maybe your bachelor's in this, you can easily do masters, and then you can even start now teaching.
True.
You know, or you can even do a PhD and start teaching in the university. So that's very, very important. It's very, very important for people to invest in education, and it's very, very important if you can start a business that is actually you went to school for, like you went to school, studied public relations, start a PR company. That would be very good.
Yes.
Compared to maybe I went to school, did economics, and then I'm going into
Going to PR.
You see. Yes,
Makes
I might still succeed there because I'm really passionate about PR. So I'll do more research. I'll actually learn more compared to even you who've studied PR, because I'm so passionate about it. So definitely I'll invest a lot of time learning PR, and then learning now the upfront knowledge, meaning like I'm learning the real thing right now. You know, how do I communicate with companies? How do I talk to the different clients? What kind of value proposition do they need from me? You know, so all those things are quite important.
Okay, and as we conclude, after the year that we had in 2020, now looking into the new year that we've started, what are some of the maybe small businesses that people can start now that they still need to be cushioned?
Okay, yeah. I mean, yes, I mean, we're in 2021, and, you know, Corona is still here. And, I mean, obviously, you know, the World Health Organization, the different CDCs are still working very hard to be able to find a vaccine. And literally, vaccines take a lot of time to be able to be effectively successful.
Yeah.
And yes, we've seen a few vaccines that has a bit of success, you know, the Moderna, the Pfizer, vaccine. I mean, they have a little bit of success, but they're still not yet successful. So, which means we're still going to be investing a lot of time, and so we might not still go back to our normal glowing and bubbling life, you know. so digital is still very important. We still need to learn how we're going to embrace our digital, you know, our digital experience, you know. So which means that every business that's coming out right now still needs to have, you know, a lot of digital inclusion aspect. So invest in a lot of digital training, invest in a lot of that. But then we're still going back to essential services. You know, companies, I think we still need a lot of that essential services. So which means the local food business is still very, very key. So people are actually getting into food business, still very key. Agriculture definitely is still very key because people need food. And especially those people in the healthcare, they still need a lot of innovation around healthcare, cutting across maternal and all those, you know, different healthcare aspects. So that's still a very huge opportunity as well. And also technology-wise, in terms of access to internet, you know, it's high time that now people are going to look at how do we get internet connection in the village.
Yes, now more than ever.
Yeah, so internet is going to be quite a big thing because everybody's going digital. Most of these campuses, you're going to find that they're still going to embrace
learning online.
People learning online. Maybe they're only going to be coming to main campus to do their physical exams, practicals and all those kind of stuff. So there's still a lot of need for that, and still a lot of need to embrace digital aspect in different things, because we're still going to be adhering to COVID regulations until probably sometime maybe next year or even 2023.
Okay, and I think I will bring you in at some other time so we can talk about digital branding and marketing, because that's what makes sense so much right now.
Exactly.
Yes, but thank you so much for honoring our call for today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, and that is where we conclude Your Story on Lookup TV. It comes to you this and every Saturday at 9 p.m. I am Nancy Nelima. Thank you for watching.